God's plan. I am still here with you.
Oh, goddamn! Oh, do you know what? That intro for this game gives me chills. It's just for some reason it's that sort of eerie, amazing grace background music that just really gives you chills. It's one, especially when he starts singing it in that sort of scary, creepy way. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, I'd love that little background bit of music. It's fantastic. Anyway, guys, welcome back to Leo Gaming. And in case you haven't already guessed it, yes, I am doing a review for Far Cry 5, and I absolutely love this game. I actually think this is the second best. To be honest, I think this is better than Far Cry 3. I love the protagonist in this, but the antagonist, Joseph the Seed family. I just think it's such the whole occult and religious sort of aspect of the game is just gives it that creepy vibe, that occult sort of supernatural vibe to it. Anyway, so I am doing a review of this game, Far Cry 5. I'll just let you know, I won't be doing a Retro Tuesday this week. My schedule has been a bit hectic, personal reasons. So I won't be doing a Retro Tuesday this week, but I will be doing one next week. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's jump straight into this review. Far Cry 5 is a first-person shooter developed by Ubisoft Montreal and Ubisoft Toronto and published by, of course, Ubisoft. You are in Hope County, a fictional version of Montana. You must liberate and destroy a doomsday cult which has started the project at Eden's Gate. Led by Joseph Seed and aided by his family, John, Jacob and Faith, who have taken control of the county, you must fight back by any means necessary in order to restore hope to the county. Yes, guys, so Far Cry 5, starting off with the visuals. I would say it does look great. It does look like the graphics are really good, close up, but the draw distance on this game isn't brilliant. I mean, I'm playing with the FPS boost, so the performance is absolutely fantastic, but the draw distance is a little bit, it blurs quite, you can see the blur, and it also has a lot of texture popping, but it also has that sort of grid sort of thing on the environmental structures sometimes at a distance, like it had in Assassin's Creed Origins. It's like that sort of grid structure where it's sort of just about to load in the texture, which is slightly annoying. But you will be playing in a mixture of forest, mountains and farmland, which is obviously that sort of similar to Montana. The characters, they look okay, as standard with most Ubisoft games, although you do get a lot of character popping. For example, if you're walking into a building, you do see the characters suddenly appear. They do sort of fade in, so it does look a bit dodgy in terms of that. But in terms of the actual environment, I would say the graphics are really good. There are just a couple of little flaws with it, but overall I would say the graphics are pretty solid. In terms of sound, you've either got two styles of soundtrack. You've got the religious soundtrack, or you've got the very rock style soundtrack. It's almost like they're going for like a heaven and hell style. You got the religious sort of like church singing, church choir sort of soundtrack, and you've got the sort of rock soundtrack, which is obviously supposed to represent the hell. It's like a heaven and hell sort of thing. Although I do love the Amazing Grace theme. I just think the hairs really stand up on end when I hear that, especially in the way the game do it. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I haven't got a clue. But it just gives it that really eerie vibe, like that a definite vibe of like a cult, and I think it's fantastic. Apart from that, sound is, I would say, standard as usual. All gunshots, vehicle sounds, animal sounds, they all sound pretty standard, pretty good. Environmental sounds, the ambience and stuff like that, it all sounds pretty good. I have no complaints. Like I've always said, I don't ever notice sound unless it's a really bad thing that's going on, or something that really sticks out to me. That sort of, see, like I said, that Amazing Grace sort of sets the tone of the game for me. That's why I think I really like it. In terms of mechanics, guys, you get your standard story mode and you also get arcade mode. In terms of story mode, that's basically you're splitting, the map is split into 3 areas, each one controlled by either John, Joseph or Faith, and you've got to complete missions to build up the resistance bar to unlock the mission to take out the main boss. You also get side missions. Now these are just random people that need help. These could be random, like collect space rocks from a crop circle or help someone transport through time. Now it is really good. You do get some wacky side missions, and I do like them because it just gives that feeling that there's more happening in the world than just this Eden's Gate. It just gives you that sort of randomness within the environment, that you do these sort of wacky side missions. And it makes the characters more believable, because I can imagine you do get people like that in real life that believe the aliens are about to invade, that sort of thing. You can recruit specialists throughout the game that have their own benefits to help you. Each recruit will have a specific skill, like a sniper or demolitions expert, or you get a dog and various animals that can help you track enemies and kill enemies. You can also recruit normal people to fight with you. Now these people could just be standard people civilians that you liberate, that you save, and then you can hire them. Now when they fight alongside you, they do gain their own XP, which then makes them a lot better. You also gain skill points. Now skill points, I don't really like explaining skill points in games now, because nearly every game has a skill point system. It's just standard stuff like an extra weapon slot, or you can breathe longer underwater, things like that, which, it's a standard skill tree. You can earn these by completing missions or challenges. So rather than gaining skill points via XP, because the XP bar builds up your resistance. The XP builds up your resistance bar. Now, you gain skill points by completing missions or challenges, such as get 10 melee kills or blow up 10 people with a grenade, stuff like that, which I think is better. It just gives you a bit more, it just feels a bit better to play it like that way. You also have a crafting system. Now, I will be honest, I did no crafting. I didn't need to. It seems like I never even checked the materials I had to craft. I just found there's so much money and things to sell within the environment. You end up buying all the stuff anyway, and you don't actually need to craft. So that's something you might want to go down that route and use the crafting. Set yourself your own goal. Like, I'm not going to buy anything, I'm going to craft it all. That's down to you. But I just felt I didn't need to use the crafting system at all. Now, in order to traverse the environment, you have your road vehicles like cars, trucks and lorries. You can also fly using planes or a helicopter, and you've also got a parachute, and you can use a wingsuit if you want to do some base jumping and get down a mountainside very, very quickly. Again, similar to Ghost Recon Wildlands, I ended up just using the once you've got a helicopter, I just end up using helicopters for most travel, unless there wasn't a helicopter near me. So it always seems like, I don't know whether it's just me or whether the game sort of subtly ushers you into using air travel because the map is so big. I mean, you can fast travel, but I try not to in these sort of games. I don't really like to fast travel. It breaks the immersion for me. You do get customization, very basic customization, but you can customize your character and your weapons. You don't get a great deal of choice. You get your standard, a silencer, an extra magazine, or various sights that you want to use for your weapons. Generally, they're the same for all the weapons, but that's how it is. Now, you do get little extras within the map. You could take out these silos, which build up your resistance bar. These are just sort of grain silos that have got the Eden's Gate logo slapped on the side. You've just got to blow them up. That basically builds up your resistance bar. You also get to liberate outposts, standard, like most Far Cry games and most games like this. You liberate outposts, you take out the enemies within it, and you basically rescue it for the sort of normal civilians. You also get things called prepper stashes. Now, I advise doing these. These are basically little sort of environmental puzzles that you can complete that you just unlock loads of loot, loads of money, loads of loot, and sometimes you'll get a sort of random weapon in there. And you also get random things in the world, like you might see a civilian that's got a gun to its head by one of Eden's gates, so you got to save them and stuff like that, and that will lead on to you being able to hire that civilian and recruit them. So, moving on to gameplay, guys. Well, you're in a first-person perspective, which I will be honest, isn't my favourite for this sort of open-world type of game. I see the game's good, but I'm not a great fan of the first-person, this style of view for an open world. It's just, I just find it, especially with vehicle control, it's too wobbly and bouncy for me. I mean, people like it. I personally am not a great fan of it. I do think, though, they should try to do at least a section of a game just to test it in third person, because you have the character customization, but what's the point? I never understand games that you're in first person, well, what's the point of character customization if you're never going to see a bloody character? Like, you don't get cutscenes where you see a character, so it just never makes sense for me. You also don't get a voice. Again, for some reason, Ubisoft don't put a voice in some games and put a voice in others. Like Assassin's Creed, your character always gets a voice. Ghost Recon Wildlands, your character gets a voice. This Far Cry game, your character doesn't get a voice, and the same as Division, your character doesn't get a voice. I just never understand, what is it so difficult about putting a voice on a character? I mean, you just make generic voices and just do the lines. I never understand it, so your character's practically a mute again. The gunplay is very, very satisfying. It's similar feel to Ghost Recon Wildlands. It has like a heavy bullet impact sound, which sounds and looks great. They fall, okay. It's just the physics engine working, You have no cover system apart from running away or hiding, basically ducking behind a rock or a tree or some long grass. There's no actual cover system. And also driving and flying is good, although helicopters do annoy me slightly because the screen when you use the pitch and yaw control, the chopper, the screen moves before the helicopter itself. So you sort of get this, it's hard to time it right sometimes. You get this awkward sort of view, and it's really frustrating. I just don't understand why they can't keep the view where it is and then the helicopter moves with your view rather than the screen moving first and then the helicopter moves behind you. It feels like a bit of lag. Almost feels like a bit of lag. In terms of that, the whole gameplay itself is pretty good. You can get around the environment pretty easy. Like I say, there's several methods to traverse the environment. Gunplay is good. Stealth, you can still stealth it. Again, you hear a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, you can stealth it. I mean, I've taken on outposts and stealthed every single one of the enemies. It just depends how you play it. If you're an all-action, go in, run in without even looking, doing some recon on the environment, that's down to you. But then they're the sort of people then complain about there's no stealth. But there is stealth. So it all depends on how you play it. In general, I do think the gameplay is pretty good. It's standard Far Cry. I am now really, really excited about Far Cry 6, which will probably more of the same, but just a different storyline, different map. So overall, guys, I would say Far Cry 5 for me is the best one out of the lot. To me, what sells it is the theming and the story. I just find the whole religious occult and stuff like that theme and the environment itself sort of really nails it. So I just feel like that's what sells it to me. The gameplay is standard Far Cry stuff, but the theming and the eerie feel you get from when the religious sort of music tones come on, it just really sells it for me. I would suggest going and purchase this game. Like I say, I am playing this on the Xbox Series X, and I actually got this before the deal, but there was a current deal. I think it was for Far Cry 5 and Far Cry Primal for about 13 quid off the Xbox store. But like I say, this is with the FPS boost, this game, so it runs smoothly. And yeah, I would suggest going to buy this game, especially now Far Cry is coming up. It'll be good to sort of fill the time with this and Far Cry New Dawn, which is like the follow-on to this, which is just the same map but different, you know, more of a blown up environment. So yeah, that is the end of my review for
Was blind, but now I see.
So guys, I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you do like my content, because like I say, I do love making these reviews and these my Retro Tuesday ones, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Also click that notification bell so you can keep bang up to date with when I release a video. Also, don't forget to check out my previous video, which was a Retro Tuesday one on Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, a legend and classic of a game. Well guys, enjoy your weeks and I hope you are all doing well. Thank you for watching and goodbye.